We are just making sure that everything is set up here. There's a lot of construction noise down around, so let's hope that everything's going well. Let's make sure that our live stream is actually official live. And so we're live, guys. So welcome back to another episode of Box Mining here. So today is Monday, the 30th of November. Man, we're approaching the last day of November here. So we move back up in terms of cryptocurrency pricing. I think this is something that we've all seen coming. I think there's virtually no one who would have thought, crypto's dead again for the last, millionth time. And yet we're moving to some really good numbers. I mean, if you look at it this morning, I was like looking at it, I was like 18K for Bitcoin again. We passed 18K 500. We're almost again touching 600 again for Ethereum. So yet again, we got this kind of V-shaped recovery that's happening. And kind of like last video, we're seeing that this type of volatility, this type of correction is not abnormal for crypto. I think a lot of people were very concerned towards the end of last week when prices suddenly dipped on negative news coming out of US, especially when it concerns Coinbase potentially. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, told us that there could be new regulations coming in the US affecting self-custody wallets. But none of everything of that is shoved aside. That kind of nonsense that people are, I think, obviously recovering that. And also, of course, we had a situation where there were over leveraged longs last week, and this kind of dip just obliterated those longs. So people who were in over leveraged positions, these traders taking these insane gambles, maybe on 50x, 100x leverage, that is drastically cut down. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's part of the trading game. So today we'll talk a little bit about the markets, on our expectations, and we'll update ourselves on news. There's actually surprisingly quite a lot of news happening today, especially when it concerns to Pizza Hut is accepting crypto in Venezuela. I found that was kind of funny. I mean, Venezuela is pushing crypto really hard, especially because their own currency sucks over there. So, anyways, that's not offense. No offense. Sorry. I didn't mean to be mean, but this is something that I would say is one of the most powerful aspects of Bitcoin, where the supply is limited and it could be used. But obviously, of course, that's not going to be the primary factor for every single country. But for countries that have a very volatile currency, it becomes extremely valuable. But we'll talk about that today. We'll also talk about a few enormous trades that were spotted. Apparently, there was a gigantic whale that sold roughly around $386 million worth of Bitcoin in one day. And that doesn't really affect us that much. We're also going to update a little bit about what's happening in China. Last week, we saw that the Chinese government announced that they seized 4.5 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin. And people were concerned, did they sell it? Is it going to cause a sell-off, or have they sold it already? And we'll kind of dive into a little bit about what's happening with the whole story there. And that's pretty much like kind of the rough summary, of course, guys. Something kind of funny starting this episode, that's like, before waking up today, I had this very, very vivid dream that I was doing this live stream. So I kind of feel like I'm doing this twice. The interesting thing is that when I woke up this morning, like when I really woke up, sometimes you're in a dream state. You don't even know if you're awake or not. When I woke up, I looked at my phone and it was like the prices were recovering exactly like what I was saying in the live stream. So anyways, that was kind of interesting and funny at the same time, maybe just for me. But anyways, guys, welcome back to this channel, guys. If you have any concerns, any questions as well, we'll also take a look at DeFi today as well. A lot of partnerships and acquisitions happening in the DeFi scene. So yeah, we'll take a look at all of that today. And if you guys like this type of video, really do smash up those likes. It really does help this channel grow. It's one of YouTube's things you gotta do. So yeah, make sure it does make you smash up the likes. Really appreciate it. And of course, if you guys like shorter versions of these videos, this is something that we've been pushing a little bit. We created this new channel called Boxmining Clips. It's kind of like it's exactly what it sounds like. It's clipping box mining videos that to shorter form. So let me just box mining Clips. Let me just type that up here. So just check out this guy, Boxmining Clips, if you guys want to subscribe to that. It's much shorter, so the videos are around 4 minutes or 11 minutes, focus on a particular topic. The thumbnails are all just crazy. We're testing a few thumbnails and ideas, and it's just really great fun over there. So there's a lot of more publications, but it's a lot shorter. So that was kind of the how everything is going. So yeah, make sure you check it out, subscribe to it if you guys want it. Yeah, it's just something for you guys. I know a lot of people really have been saying I want shorter videos. These live streams are way too long for me to follow, so this is something for you guys over there. And also on that note as well, if you guys want to listen to a lot more podcasts in detail, this is the podcast to go for. It's called Bitcoin Out of the Box. It is my podcast. You can search on everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything, on the run, on the go, whatever. Pretty much everywhere you can see that, and yeah, that's good to go. Anyways, with that, without further ado, guys, I'm going to start the stream and let's go. Oh, and by the way, just before we start, I did increase the volume. I did actually add a gain on my OBS. So tell me if you guys like and prefer this volume more. It's I added around 8 decibels of gain. So that's actually quite a lot. So let me tell me if it's too much or if it's a perfect amount for you guys. I heard some people are complaining about kind of not enough volume. So hopefully this really does help you guys. So let's start off with the market first of all. We already had a little bit of a sneak peek to it. Ethereum is really pushing up very aggressively today. If you look at the past 24 hours, we got Ethereum moving up 8.5%. We're all the way back to $586. Pretty good. We've got Bitcoin, yet again, 18K 500. So it's a very, very drastic recovery. You see this a lot in crypto where it takes a big dump and there could be a million explanations as to why, right? And it recovers almost just as fast. Let me just I will just plot this chart properly. This low trading view up here for a second here. So we got Bitcoin, Tether. You saw that really huge dip that freaked a lot of people out. You know, number doesn't always go up. It does go down sometime. A lot of people were very concerned. Kind of very funny is that like roughly speaking, if you look at it, it kind of hit, let's see what average this is. So this should be a 20. All right, it should be source one color. I just need to have better colors here. So it hit the 150 day 2 hours. Let me put it to, I mean, nah, it's fine. Okay. That was just interesting because it kind of hit that line over there. It's not a day one, but anyways. Let me see if it'll hit any good lines here. Nah, it kind of got hit. It kind of hit this one, the 20-day moving average, and then moved up. But this is very, very classic in crypto. It's something that we're extremely used to, in a sense that number doesn't always go up. It goes down, it falls, and we have, freak out, especially when it comes, like there could be various theories. And something that I've been also looking towards is, because there's a holiday in the US and right before holiday, typically speaking, we do see a dump. This happens also on Chinese New Year as well. There's always been almost for like 4 consecutive weeks, there's 4 consecutive years rather, there's always a Chinese New Year dump. So now maybe a Thanksgiving dump is going to be a new pattern here. But anyways, so we have this V-shaped recovery. We're moving back all the way up, yet again, pushing and quite aggressively too. If you guys see these kind of like little mini pushes, boop, boop, boop. And one thing I just want to say with these markets, and this is something that I pointed out to the videos last week, is that something like this is extremely common. Big movements up and down is extremely often as common, especially if leverage trading is becoming one of the dominant trading volumes in crypto. Reason being is because if people take up huge positions, it could cause a cascading effect where certain positions can get liquidated, like boom, if it gets liquidated, it kind of continues the trend a little bit more. So this is one of the reasons why I'm not aggressively doing kind of leverage trading at this current point. I just feel like it's not necessary for me personally at this point. I feel like because there's huge amounts of volatility, I'd rather just have a nicer time myself rather than being in a hugely leveraged position. And last week, if you guys haven't watched the video, this video has a very, you know, let me see. It's actually on Boxmining rather. I use the same um, caption. So if you see on Boxmining last week, there was this video I said about do not do this in crypto and explain, what was happening with the Bybit situation where they had an insane drop, insane dump of ETH, kind of preceding this whole incident. And it happens. And this is something that I would definitely kind of encourage you to look at if you don't know what was happening on the markets. Like this sort of action is very um, prevalent. So yet again, we see ETH moving up and Bitcoin and both ETH moving up at the same time. ETH a little bit more than Bitcoin. So it's a situation where, let me just load the chart. Okay. Wait. What? Give me a sec. I can't click properly today. It's I don't know. Trading view. Need to click well today this morning. So let's double check. Let's load ETH the chart. So this is a very clear V-shaped recovery. Look at that. Aggressively dump for ETH all the way down to 490. So congratulations to anyone who picked up during the dip. And this is one of the points I was saying as well. It's like a lot of people didn't agree with me when I said, oh, look, I had, capital sitting around. I had stable coins sitting around to be re-entering these dips. And this is exactly what I did during the dip. Yes, I kind of entered not at the very bottom. I entered around 514, but yeah, I did do pretty well so far. And this is a kind of volatility. If you've been in crypto for a long time, you definitely know that these pullbacks, aggressive pullbacks, is very, very frequently seen, to be understating the event. Mark G says, is this a fake out rally? And I think this is one of the bigger questions here. Okay, this is my personal take on it. I mean, if you look towards the 1 month, right? You look at towards the 1 month chart, you see this huge rally, huge rally. We're definitely in a upward trajectory right now. Now, can this go too fast is another question. And I think this is a much harder to answer. What I feel like in the next 3 months, we are gonna experience something that's insane. I feel like the number of people moving back into crypto is huge. The number of people being like reactivating accounts. I leaked, of course, that Genesis block, the Bitcoin Center here, is extending their opening hours to kind of deal with that new inflow, the new volume, the new people coming back. And I feel like this is one of the situations where kind of in the next period, this is why my kind of crypto exposure is kind of ramped up at this current point. Because, well, two reasons. One, because crypto moved up. So in terms of overall portfolio, it does take up a lot more. And I haven't started selling aggressively yet. Eventually, of course, there's going to be a wave up. And this is when I will say I'll start my dollars cost average selling. And that makes perfect sense. Taking profit. I think I had a question about taking profit last week, where people are like, oh, is it noob to take profit? Obviously not. If you make money, you make money, right? And I think this is something sort of mentality I want to fight, because the average person on Twitter is mega bullish, right? Mega bullish. And there's nothing wrong with people taking profits. There's nothing wrong about talking about profits, and that's okay. But that being said, of course, I have dialed my crypto exposure to the max, because I do feel like in terms of the setup here, we're set up for something kind of insane. And a lot of this has to do with politics. I mean, if you look at the political situation right now, it is a dumpster truck fire. There is no better way to explain this. Like, if I look at US politics, especially, like, eh, what a mess. What a mess. And with that instability going through, with the government being so indecisive, one of the biggest options that they can get out of a mess is to print more money. And this has been happening throughout this year. We've already seen in terms of the data, you've probably seen a lot of these infographics around now, in terms of the total supply of the US dollar, they added 20% extra supply. I mean, that's insane, right? If you actually think about it. And I think one of the best ads, I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen this around Reddit and everything. It's like the equivalent of that is, you know, flushing money down the toilet. And with on top of this as well, what we're seeing is in terms of global trade, there's more and more restrictions on currency flow. So China on China's side, on the east, China has aggressively tightened up how much the loopholes people are finding to kind of get around currency restrictions. So we know that China have always had restrictions of how much an individual can transfer out of China per year, and this is something that's I'm absolutely not in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can transfer any amount you want. Just take, for example, like this mega whale that we saw. Let me just throw that out there. This enormous whale that transferred $386 million. There's no one who can prevent that person from transferring this amount of money. Anywhere else, it could have raised alarm bells. Governments would have said, yo, what are you doing? Why are you transferring that much money? We're going to restrict you. In China, this is definitely not allowed because anything over 50K being transferred out of the country, that would be deemed as illegal. So this year, China has actually increased the amount of kind of loophole checking they did. So before previously they allowed, you can get a whole village of people to sign up and use their quota to send money out of the country. That has completely been kind of stopped at this rate this year. And this year there was a huge crackdown on cryptocurrencies directly targeting at crypto because it allowed people to move large sums of money around. All of this is telling me that instead of saying, oh, government's cracking down on crypto, it's bad for crypto, but it's actually demonstrating why crypto is so powerful. It means that people are starting to understand why decentralization is important, especially the richer folk out there. They're realizing, hey, if I want to move money around with actual freedom, well, Bitcoin, right? So I think this is one of the most powerful aspects there. So that's why, in terms of the grand scheme of things, I don't think this is a fake rally. I think there's a lot of organic interest and institutional interest in this entire rally overall. But in the short term, there could be spikes up and down. I'm not going to discount that, and I've been talking about that kind of way too much over the past few days as well. So anyways, guys, that's my current take on it. And of course, right, I just saw a huge influx of people joining this channel, by the way. So welcome to the channel. And if you can, guys, smash up the like button. It really does help this channel. It's just really cool. So that's great. We got a few questions on chat. So Yarko Haiduk says, please share the Telegram invite link. So we'll be doing that soon. So I'll do another opening session for Telegram. So I have a private Telegram discussion group for all of us here that's part of this community. And it's really for you guys. So it's really well managed. It's well managed by the community. And we have a really great reputation system there as well. We just discuss a lot about crypto and a lot about more realistically what's going on. But the downside of that, of course, is that right now, we can't always open it up to everyone because a lot of times when we do open it up, a few assets, and this is a small minority, a few assets, bots, they just come in and just try to screw with the community there. So we don't always open it up, but we will try to open it up next week. So that's the kind of take on it. Now, we got Believe Crypto says, short XRP. Sailors purchase dampening the dips, LOL. And there's a lot of talk about that this year. I think this year, one of the biggest changes to crypto is the different take on it. I think people are starting to understand that it's not just about currency transactions. I mean, that's great. I'll take a look at this news article here. So Pizza Hut to accept Bitcoin for pies in Venezuela. They don't make the best pies. Okay, let's be honest here. Pizza Hut, not the best pies, but hey, if they accept crypto, I'll go for it. So yes, the famous US pizza chain has become accepting crypto payments in Venezuela. It's using BitBuyer and it accepts Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Binance Coin, BUSD, Ether, USDT, and DAI and the native XPT token. So congrats on the partnership there. And okay, so this is one of the use cases of cryptocurrencies. And I think 2017 was very focused on using kind of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies for payments. And I think this is absolutely suitable for a lot of countries like Venezuela. But it's not the only use case though. And I want to say this because, like I said, I think the primary use case now, especially for in Asia, especially for in this region overall, is the use case of being able to transfer huge sums of cryptocurrencies, not just for pizza purchases, but huge sums of cryptocurrencies, millions of dollars, US dollars with full freedom. I think that's the key. So, anyways, I'm not trying to diminish that. I think it's super cool that you can buy pizza. I've actually tried to buy pizza with crypto before, and there's some work to be done. There's some work to be done, and I think that's absolutely okay. All right. So in terms of what else is there, talking about Asia, I just want to bring this up. This is from Matty Graham. Math, not math, nah, Matty, yeah, Matty Graham. So last week we talked about this certain amount of FUD where Chinese authorities have seized 4.2 billion, not million. I was going to say almost going to say million, but billion plus worth of cryptocurrencies. And this is with after the closure of the biggest scam in Asia called Plus Token. So Plus Token is essentially the big connect of Asia, but it was done at even a greater scale. So it was roughly 4x more scammy than a big connect that scammed way more money, so in the billions range. So a lot of people got totally destroyed and wrecked by it, and we actually exposed the scam on this channel as well. So Boxmining, we search Boxmining Plus Token, we have the big scammer alert, and the kind of the recap plus big this big scammer thing. We talked about that. We saw the scenes about that. Now, what's the update on that? So people were concerned that because the police had a huge amount of Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Ripple, EOS, all these cryptocurrencies in their custody, what's going to happen? Are they going to dump it on the open market? Something that's kind of interesting, all right? And I think one of the views that, okay, we'll look at the official view first. The official view is that they have already sold these currencies. So in line 6 over here, it says that these have already been sold to fiat and moved into the reserves of the Chinese government. One thing that's kind of interesting is that they're making no attempts to kind of refund people here that got involved. Like people who got wrecked get wrecked. That's kind of the case. And the government just confiscated everything because cryptocurrencies, technically speaking, is illegal. So like the trading of cryptocurrencies is illegal, so sucks to be you. All right, the other kind of interesting thing is they said that everything has been sold. Now, whether or not this is real, we don't really know. It could be possible, 100% possible, that they work with exchanges. We know that the Chinese government is very close to Huobi and OKX, and these are big hubs. So they kind of let these two exchanges still operate kind of in the shadows for the last 3 years. Um, it's like cryptocurrency exchanges were banned, but then now they operate kind of in the shadows and the government kind of allows it. Kind of. All right. I'm not going to go into too much technicality here, but just look really deep into China. That's really what was happening. So it could be the case that they use these exchanges to kind of sell all these cryptocurrencies, or they're just saying that. All right. The other possibility is that they're just saying that to, make it official, to make it cool sounding, right? Why not, right? Government capital, 4.5 billion US dollars straight into the government coffers, right? But regardless, I think the impact on the market is not going to be too huge. So in the first case, if they sold everything, great. That means the impact has already been over. If they haven't sold it, that means they hold a huge chunk. Now they're hodlers of cryptocurrencies. There you go. That's the 2 cents. But okay, so that's kind of the take on it. So there's Matthew came out to say, yeah, there's no need to FUD. It's mostly sold, so there's no need to FUD. Some other people were kind of concerned. I think this is the weird. Crypto journalism, they always bring this up, and I've always have a big beef with this. So all right. There's speculation. So there's still a lot of fear. A cool thing about China having okay, this is another thing. This is another quick fun comment. The cool thing about China having a ton of bitcoins and mining a ton of bitcoins is absolutely nothing. Now, there's also this other fear, this misunderstanding. I kind of feel like that's directed at China, which is that China has a lot of bitcoins, and also China controls a lot of the mining as well. This is something that miners kind of tend to kind of allow to happen, but mining is a lot more decentralized than what most people think. I feel like this is a situation where a lot of people look at the mining pools and think of them as a single person. So whether it's F2 pool, people think, oh, F2 pool, it's taking like a massive amount, 15%, or I think it's a little bit more than that, of the total Bitcoin hash rate. But what's important to realize is that F2 pool represents hundreds and thousands of users, right? A lot of people can just join it and start mining. So it's a situation where I feel like a lot of the infographics being put out right now in social media about mining is completely wrong. It's just outright like done by people who have no understanding of what's happening. Mining is a lot more decentralized. These pools represent a lot of users. And for me, I've joined a lot of pools in the past. When I was mining Bitcoin quite aggressively back in the 2012 actually. Um, yeah, you join multiple pools, you can do multiple things, you can switch pools, etc., and you're just a small fraction of that pool. So I feel like there's a lot of detail that's left out in mainstream media, and people just make these assumptions, which is the worst thing to do because it makes you very misled in ideas. And I think this is one of the biggest kind of fake arguments back in 2011, 2012, 2017, where everyone was trying to make it and seem like Bitcoin was very centralized, so their own project can benefit from this. And this turned out to be not true. So my 2 cents there. Anyways, so in that sense, I definitely feel like, yeah, I definitely agree with this statement saying crypto gains is the cool thing about China having a ton of Bitcoins and mining a bunch of Bitcoins is absolutely nothing. And also, China doesn't always mine. Like people put China as China, but Chinese people are people. And there's a lot of people in China, especially with the miner community, that really do care about decentralization. That's how they got into this thing in the first place. So if you actually do talk to Chinese miners, they're actually very stubborn, like in their beliefs of kind of the fundamentals of crypto too. So my 2 cents there. So that's kind of the dealing with the last bit of China FUD. Let's see what else we do. Oh, I just want to point this out as well. This happened during the weekend. During this weekend was very, very peaceful in terms of gas prices. It's heating up a little bit now, but I think just want to point out that this is what the fee.io, and it shows a probability of sending a transaction on top. So this is like what's the chance of you successfully sending that transaction, and this is the time frame. So one thing I can kind of see is that there's a lot of blue here, and what that kind of represents is that it's extremely cheap. If you don't mind like waiting, say if you don't mind waiting 3 hours, so we're looking at 3 hour mark. If you don't mind waiting 3 hours, if you send with a gas price of 1.5 sats per byte, it's going to be ridiculously cheap. So there's 80% chance of that going through, and it's going to be super cheap. And I did test this out on the weekend too. I was sending a few Bitcoin transactions, and it was like 0.4 cents or something. It was something ridiculously cheap like that. So I just want to point out it's actually really cheap right now to send Bitcoin, especially if you don't mind waiting 3-4 hours. I know it just sounds pretty long waiting 3-4 hours, but you're saving up literally like 30x in terms of like probably less 25x in terms of fees, right? So why not? If you don't need to be aggressively sending crypto out very quickly, that's a perfect way to do it. And that's what I've been doing. Something that a lot of people have pointed out as well, if you guys are very technically minded, if you guys have a lot of inputs into Bitcoin, this is a great time to combine those inputs. So the way Bitcoin works is it's kind of weird. Bitcoin itself, and this is very different, right? I have a bunch of coins here to demonstrate. Okay, so this is just a quick reminder for people who want to play with this right now. But Bitcoin, the way it works is it uses the UTXO model, which means that your balance is comprised out of like kind of change. Every input, every transaction you get, they count as a separate input. And when you send it, you have to kind of send individual coins. This is different from Ethereum, where Ethereum considers it as its entire balance. But the key here is that because of these little bunch of coins, what some people do, what some experts do, is that they combine these inputs into a single input to make it cheaper to send cryptocurrencies in the future, especially when gas prices or in terms of Bitcoin, so some network fees are very high. This is a big advantage. So this is a reminder. If you guys know how to do that, now is a good time. Now is definitely a good time. Like, yeah, it's cheap. So actually, I was actually meant to show you guys on the camera, but anyway, that's a bunch of coins. But Um, yeah, that's like I would probably do a video on that later, like if you guys want to know that. But it's one of the smart things you can do during a time when fees are very low. On that note as well, Ethereum had low gas fees, but now it's spiking back up. Yet again, more trade activity as people come out of the holiday mood. People trade a lot more, so that actually does matter. Uh, SD says we don't see you exactly. Sorry about that, guys. So definitely two websites that's worth looking at: ETH gas fees and whatthefee.io. This is actually done by a friend here in Hong Kong. Like big shout outs to Felix who does this. It's pretty cool. Anyways, last few things I want to cover here. So I did promise you we'll take a look at DeFi, and over this weekend we have another partnership. So Yearn and Cover had a merger. If you guys know what Yearn is, it's Wi-Fi. It's one of the biggest projects, the leader of DeFi in this right now. And the kind of cool thing is that I think it's a classic case of how one developer can do like a crazy amount of work, right? So first of all, Wi-Fi, it's $25,000 right now for a single Wi-Fi, and that ecosystem is worth $7.7 million right now. And that merger immediately pushed up the price of cover. It was kind of insane. We're discussing this on Telegram over the weekend. It was just like all of a sudden there was like a bloop, and then all of a sudden the prices shot up like crazy. Trade volume went like crazy. It's just insanity in crypto. So I don't know what to really say there. I mean, I guess if you're in cover, you're lucky. And in terms of what they're doing, I think I'll approach it from this angle. In terms of what they're doing, it's actually really cool. Moving into insurance products. If you kind of think about it, people actually describe this kind of like the evolution of banking, right? First, when banking started, you have these deposit products. You know, when the first banks opened up, very, very early on, people can deposit money. Sure, that's great. And we have that in crypto. So you just deposit your ETH. And then we have products like Compound, which allows deposit, savings, and lendings, right? So saving and borrowing. So it allows a borrowing platform to go up. And then eventually what happens after kind of this lending platform goes out is you have exchanges, which we've already looked at, and people are asking about products like Injective, derivatives trading, all that. So exchanges and also insurance. So these are kind of the big new categories for decentralized finance. Essentially, we're kind of carving out, okay, we're saying, traditional finance, we're going after you. And that's kind of one of the most powerful aspects of DeFi right now. And if you actually seen how powerful DeFi can be, if you've been part of DeFi summer, you'll realize that we can 100% do what a lot of these banks are charging as huge amounts of money for free. It's kind of insanity. The simplest explanation of that would be something like, say, trading. Even if you want to go and trade, let's say you want to trade stocks, it costs crazy amounts if you go through the bank. Or if you want to just apply for a loan, they still take a portion of that. But in crypto, you can say, okay, let me establish a loan on Compound or on Cream and take that out. It's kind of insane. So anyways, looking at the comments right here, there's actually a lot of comments today, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's let's see. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, we got something from He Bangs the Drums says, watch what happens once the next admin starts taxing the bejesus out of corporations and they won't be buying Bitcoin, then lose your source of buying pressure, which is BS to begin with. I think there's a lot of unnecessary concern about that. I think that could be a concern to a lot of people, but I feel like, all right, here's the best way to describe it. I feel like people talking about this institutional kind of speculation here, but I feel like the institutions that are understanding Bitcoin go deeper here. They look at the problems that's very present in the current economy, and those problems cannot be easily fixed, right? So Bitcoin is becoming more and more of a hedge against the current economy. So, if the next the next administration starts taxing the bejesus out of everyone and the economy goes into haywire, like some people fear it, Bitcoin becomes even a stronger hold out against that. So I I would strongly disagree with that, especially with how messy the current political situation is. Like, if Bitcoin was really to go down and lose its kind of foothold, I would say only if kind of China and US made up and say, no, we're not going to have any trade wars anymore. We're going to allow complete freedom of currency transactions. And also, not just with China and US, but we also see issues between Japan and Korea and China and also the rest of Southeast Asia as well. So if you lift all these restrictions on currency movements, maybe there's less usefulness for Bitcoin as a hedge against the current economy because the current economy is doing so well. But let's be honest, the current economy is going like there's one trajectory where it's going, and it's rapidly going down. Um, so yeah, I would absolutely see that's Bitcoin. Nah, nah, nah. But of course, tax is an issue, and I think a lot of people were. I saw this one, right? I saw this too. It's a perfect timing to kind of go into this article. First of all, let's start off and say I'm not a tax expert, nor do I really understand USA tax law. I'm not an American citizen, and this is something that does not affect me at all. But that being said, I've had a lot of people kind of send me screenshots of how much tax they're paying. It's insane, right? The capital gains tax, I think, should be 100% illegal. That doesn't make any sense at all, but, taxman's got to collect their money. So a few things, right? So this one is pointing out that you don't have to report every single transaction to the IRS. You can treat your activity as a business and ordinary profit or loss. I don't really absolutely agree with this. I think the first comment on this thread that I was reading was like, I want to believe that this is true, and I highly do encourage people to talk to a tax lawyer. And also, if you guys are very concerned about trading and all these tax and regulations, I would definitely say, uh, all right, move out of Coinbase. All right, I think Coinbase is a great place for people to start and get into crypto, but because of how close they are with the IRS, I'm not telling you guys not to be shady, but I'm just saying out there that that's not something that's to your benefit. And I think there's a lot of people, a lot of friends that regret aggressively trading on Coinbase when they could have moved elsewhere. So, my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm not American. I cannot help any American on this. I don't have capital gains tax in Hong Kong. That's not something that we tax over here for. So, I'm not saying anything. I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying, you know, also like find a proper tax lawyer. All right. So, yeah. Let's see. Moving to last one. So I did allude to this a little bit as well. There was an enormous whale that abruptly sold $386 million. You saw this transaction here, 22,000 Bitcoin. That's cool. People like to watch this a lot. I mean, people love to see whale movements, but it didn't actually drastically cause the price. I think crash the price. I think some people were concerned, when big funds get moved onto exchanges, it would crash the price, but not so much. And this is a clear case where, you know, it actually shows how resilient Bitcoin is. It's kind of crazy. Uh, Llama 66666. U.S. tax law is what's driving people to crypto, maybe. And Smart Altcoin says U.S. tax laws on crypto are totally unclear. So I think in that case, yet again, move to a better exchange. Um, Seven Doghead says at Boxmining opinions on Yearn's AMA with Alpha. Right, that's cool. I mean, I think something that's interesting about Yearn and Andre Cronje himself is that he's very willing to work with people, right? So, previously we saw this Andre working with the guys at Cream, and then Cream is really going to be taken to the next level. And then we just saw the collaboration between Yearn and Cover and how they can work together. It actually gives me a lot of promise and hope, because with decentralized finance being so kind of cooperative, that's when you grow super fast, right? That's absolutely when you grow fast. So I think, like, yeah, I haven't actually seen like yet again, I haven't seen directly the announcements for these AMAs, but yeah, if they can do something together, why not? It's great. Binance US allows cash exit, just do your KYC. Um, Bass Cadet says Xbox mining. Did you degen long the dip? So I did buy during the dip. Why not? Was pretty much what I was saying. I had capital that I was waiting and setting aside to enter during the dip, and I pretty much said during the video that that was exactly what I was gonna do. So yeah. All right. So Metal Roofing says, who cares about US tax law? It's irrelevant. I think it's relevant to a lot of people who are Americans. Yet again, it does matter to some people, and I think the best option here is to find a tax lawyer to find out where, if you're American, to find a tax lawyer, a good tax lawyer to find out what your options are and how you can set up a business. I think that could be a possibility as well. Whether it's like individual entities or business entities or offshore entities that settle and deal with these products. I do know that a lot of exchanges do accept institutional investment as well, and that might be an option. If you have a lot of crypto, that might be a better option. Yet again, not a tax lawyer, but if you're in legally as an entity that you're trading as a business entity that's registered elsewhere, that could be very interesting, you know, possible as well. Yeah. But I do know like a few Americans, or it's kind of crazy. Have a few Americans who are friends who are very well off. They pretty much just bought Caribbean or St. Kitts citizenship, which is interesting. We got Olga Kemi says, wow, 800 viewers. That's great. Guys, welcome, welcome to the channel. We definitely have a lot more viewers, a lot more eyes. I think this is almost a situation where I think like if you actually look at the story, right? So we had the Thanksgiving weekend over in the US. And yet again, I think this is the effect that we saw in 2017, where people go back, talk about crypto, the real use cases of crypto again, and that kind of spreads to more interest in crypto. So yet again, we see a huge amount of people watching this channel now. So definitely an increase over the past few weeks. Like every week we've been seeing the growth in this channel. It's been very encouraging, by the way. Thanks guys for that. And I feel like this could be a story where people go back, they talk to their families about crypto. We've seen a huge number of sales of the Ledger Nano X as well, the hardware wallet. And yet again, it could be a gift. It could be a gift to friends to get people more involved, more actively involved in crypto. And this year is different because people understand, or hopefully understand, crypto a bit more. And that's kind of almost key here. So yeah, maybe the post-holiday V-shaped recovery story could gain some traction at this point. But as well as if you guys are interested, that does remind me, Ledger Nano X, you have one of the most secure hardware wallets. It's on Black Friday sale right now with 40% off. I have multiple ones of these. I I use them a lot. It's the one that holds the most coins. So if you're hesitating, you're wondering which wallet to buy, Ledger Nano X is the best one. So it has the most sale discount as well as at 40% off. Trezor itself also is on discount as well. The Trezor Model T is at 20% off. But honestly, if you're just looking to start, if you want to, be out there, Ledger Nano X is the one because it supports the most amount of cryptocurrencies. It's a no-brainer. So yeah, get one of these for your friends and your family and everyone. I think as nerdy as it is, it really does help. So there you go. So yeah, last day we have the link there. So thank you, Angela, for taking that. Cyber Monday Bull Pack. I think that's the most I've seen. Like 40% off is the most I've seen discount on that. Yeah, pretty much. If you guys want to get a 3-pack, that's even save 16%. You got a family pack right there. Family pack plus the discount Black Friday. Why not? Why not? Send one to friends and family. All right. That's pretty much it for today's episode. I think that that covers most of what I wanted to cover here. Oh, by the way, one last alpha leak. So this is for you guys who really want ETH 2.0. So I was looking at this on Cream. This was shared by one of the people in one of my groups here by a pretty good whale. I won't leak who, but right now, if you want to buy cheap ETH 2.0, you can spend 1 wrap Ether to buy 1.12 Cream ETH 2. So you're actually getting a 12% bonus on your ETH if you want to buy this up. How do I explain this well? So Cream ETH 2 is part of their Cream platform, and they're helping launch on ETH 2.0. So that's what it's for. So if you can literally stake your ETH on Cream, and you can they'll help you stake it on Ethereum 2.0. Now, why is it on discount is because obviously, and this is something I've been warning people about, once you deposit your ETH into the deposit contract, you can't take it out, right? This is why I didn't aggressively jump into Ethereum 2.0 when it launched, because when Ethereum 2.0, for transactions to even work, not only does the network need to be deployed, phase 0, you actually have to wait until phase 1 and phase 2 when the network starts working, which currently is expected to be around late 2021. So that means for a whole year, you can't transfer your cryptocurrencies, you can't transfer your ETH. And um, that's unfortunate. So yet again, it was a situation where I think I personally, for me, made the right call of not starting the deposit contracts early, not FOMOing early. There was no point to purpose of that, because the amount gained from doing so is small relative to the opportunity cost of locking your crypto up. Now with Cream, it's a little bit different. So with Cream ETH2, you stake it and you automatically get the CR ETH2 on the network to trade, which you can do here. But it does seem to be selling at a loss. So some people, I feel like, they kind of instantly regret kind of locking their ETH up, and they want to trade the Cream ETH2. So you literally get, if you're interested in Cream ETH2, you literally get a 12% premium, like 12% bonus on that, which is insane. So if you don't mind locking your ETH up for another 1 year or so, yeah, that's not bad actually. That's not something bad to pick up. So anyways, free alpha league for you guys there. Uh But it's a long time. Late 2021. Yaba do live leases. Late 2021. Absolutely. So ETH 2.0, when it launches, it will not have withdrawals. It will not have transactions. So you are locked up there. So people who are part of the launch pad, people who have transferred to this contract, thanks for locking your Ethereum up. So this has been reached 100%. It's actually huge now. It's actually 850 845,000 ETH has already been locked up, which means the expected APY is around 17%. So you get 17% of your money back as long as you run the validators, as long as you do everything correctly. But of course, you won't be able to transfer and go. It's a one-way trip. You can't transfer or unlock your ETH here. So, is that really worth it? I would say I was kind of looking forward to this, to pick up ETH2 on the discount, on the cheap. Yeah, why not, right? Pick it up on the cheap and then enjoy the 17%, which gets you what, 12% bonus here plus a 17%. That's not bad, right? That's 29% APY. Magic. All right. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents here. It was a case where rushing in is not smart, and that's something that you learn in crypto, right? A lot of people, they rush in, they buy it, expensive. Like, especially it's true of mining. Like during the mining days, when some new mining unit comes out, everyone's paying their premium. Just like how we're paying premium for PS5 or the RTX 3080 or the new AMD graphics card, the 6800T XT. All this hardware has a premium right now, and it's absolutely not worth it to pay that premium. I'm one of those guys who's like, I don't like scalpers. This case is a situation where there's no premium to pay, but you do have a lockup, and you do want to kind of observe and see if anyone regrets locking it up, and then kind of going forward. That's my 2 cents. My 2 cents on everything here. So I think there might be some people who regret locking it up, and then they might want to sell their assets on the cheap, which is the case that's happening right now. So anyways, my 2 cents. Let's see. JR says, still feeling good about Enj. So okay, if I was 100% bullish, I'm roughly around 80% bullish right now. Reason why is that Enjin this year, I felt like they lost a lot of their lead. So I'll be honest about that. I was kind of a little bit upset that Enjin lost a lot of their lead going into 2020. I think Variables came up with a very good marketplace for art. On the gaming side, I think Enjin is untouched, and I feel like I've been actively talking to them and say, look, you guys have to be a lot more aggressive and do more. And there's hopefully a lot in the bags. And I feel like I haven't sold my position yet, but I was like, yo, guys, you gotta take advantage of this NFT craze. It's a situation where they were the first ones there. They really need to kind of take that further leap outwards. And yeah, there you go. Nemesis says waited in line for 16 hours for a 3080 at Boxmining. Jesus. Um, I was looking at it this week, right? So Black Friday weekend. I went down to Shanghai, which is the computer center in Hong Kong, looking for cheap hardware, right? So gaming graphics card, the 3080, that's definitely one, or 3090 or 3080. I can like easily get one of those. But the premium, I just don't want to support the scalpers here. So roughly in Hong Kong, they're selling for around 40% more than the RS um, the recommended retail price. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Nah. And PS5s right now are roughly around 80% higher than the recommended retail price. So I was like, nah, nah. I'm just like, I was like, I have some celebration money from, all this crypto moving up. I was like, I want to go shopping and stuff, but nah, 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 no, 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 no. I do not want to support that. No thanks. Please sell it to me at the retail price. Thank you very much. I did buy, of course, the new MacBook Air with the M1 chip that's gonna arrive in on the 8th to 13th, it said. So in around a week's time, I'm gonna get a new Mac, which I'm really excited for, because that means I can go out and stream and have enough battery life without carrying a battery pack. I'll give you guys a full review on that. So that's my 2 cents. Yeah. So where where do Ethereum by this Friday? Where do you think Ethereum will be by this Friday? Mm, yeah, I got XRP is garbage. Kind of funny, right? Like I don't know. A lot of people are gonna um I'm just reading the comments up here. So a lot of hate and love on XRP. Kind of funny. A lot of my friends have, for some reason, converted to XRP converts. I don't know. I don't know. Kaido says, I want the new Mac with the M1 chip. It looks really good. I think it's a huge leap. I think this year, for some reason, right, all the tech products are really cool. Like, huge leaps on graphics cards, huge leaps on AMD's side as well. I was looking at the 3950X, which is the latest Ryzen chip, the top tier one, and that's has like a 30% markup. So I'm like, I'll wait on that. I'll wait on everything. I have patience, right? Like patience is a virtue of the wicked. Patience is a virtue of wise. I don't know. There's a cool phrase to go with that, but yeah. Ray10 says XRP is the bull flag of crypto. It's so weird. So I'll enter a discussion with you guys about XRP. For some reason, I think I've said this last time. For some reason, general public loves XRP. It's like, I think it's because it just seems like it costs lower. Like people can own an entire XRP, but it can't own an entire Bitcoin. I don't know why, but I'm not an XRP fan by any means. I think I was very smart also back in 2017 not to have big XRP exposure. If you actually look at the all-time high, right, XRP was the one that dropped the most off its all-time high. So even more, so Bitcoin, we're actually very close right now to the all-time high. But XRP, since all the all-time high, is down 81%. And that was because of how much kind of retail hype there was for XRP and how shamelessly the OG investors of XRP just dumped straight into that market, right? So the counter argument of that as well is that there's more room to grow. So, anyways, I'm not gonna take sides. It's gonna be an interesting discussion coming up. I think I'm gonna have someone from Genesis Block actually fight on the case side of XRP, and that will make an interesting dynamic for a video. I think that's for the content. That would be great. But yeah, XRP is the one, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've got all the XRP guys getting so excited here. It's great. But anyways, this year I think and you haven't seen that from me. I've taken less kind of um it's more about I've taken less aggressive approaches to fighting particular currencies. I think that's the best way to describe it. Everyone's got their stances. Yeah, we all understand that. That's great. So I think that's pretty much for today's video. I think I really appreciate all of you guys coming in. Obviously, if you guys wouldn't mind, smash up those likes. We got the most amount of likes here. Let's go up to 200 likes, please. That would be great. Um, we got 7 Doghead at Boxmining. Can you talk about Bitcoin machines in HK? What is the procedure to buy and sell them? Any KYC involved? So you can check out Coinhere. So Coinhere is the ATMs operated by the guys at Genesis Block. You guys know that I'm very close with them. I'm actually advisor to Genesis Block, which is the Bitcoin center here. They run a huge number of ATMs. So if you actually look at Coinhere, you can look at where all the ATM locations are run by Genesis Block. They don't have KYC. Yeah, you don't need to scan anything there, but there is fingerprint on that as well. So you have to do fingerprint, and I think for large transactions, for small transactions, you don't. I'll have to clarify that up. I don't run the ATMs or anything. I'll ask them about the KYC procedure if you guys want to know more. But these are all the locations. There's a hell of a lot of locations on these ATMs, or you can just directly go to Genesis Block itself, the Bitcoin Center in Wanchai, and check that out as well if they can handle a much larger transaction size if you want. But there is KYC involved. Yes, there is. So I've done my KYC. That's typically how I cash out, like, or cash in or cash out, generally via Genesis Block. Obviously, I think you guys know that I cashed out a little bit more than I cashed in because I kind of bought in a little bit earlier. So, you know, my 2 cents. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for today. New Bitcoin new local high on the 1 minute. That's great, guys. That's great. It always seems like when I make the videos, Bitcoin makes these major pushes. Like the action always happens when I'm making videos, whether it's Bitcoin moving up or Bitcoin moving down. Regardless, it's great. Uh, it seems like this is a very action-filled hour. So, anyways, let's look at the 1 minute mark here. There was a giant. So it's okay. It's okay. It's not a huge spike up, but I'm enjoying the ride. I think for me personally, this week has been a lot about balancing. When it dropped, obviously it kind of sucks. But I did manage to re-enter, and then of course I just managed to stop myself from trading the entire weekend. In fact, I binge watched the entirety of Queen's Gambit this weekend. It's great. If you guys are looking for something to watch, Queen's Gambit, definitely I recommend on Netflix. And queuing up for stuff to watch is The Boys on Amazon Prime. I heard that was really good. And also Mandalorian. So, like, yeah, a lot of content to watch, actually. So if you want to just like sink entire hours of your day, that's great. I also want to show you guys this. I've been trying to set this up for a while, right? So just before we leave. So that's kind of my setup now. So I think a lot of people don't see this angle. So that's my more nerdy angle, right? If you want to say it. So normally, typically speaking, you guys see this. It's a nice MacBook. It looks cool. It's really much for decoration at this current point because I don't use it as aggressively. But I have my trading PC and stuff over here. So I have both. I've got this is PC. So this is also this over here is another screen. This is where my whiteboard, which I write everything on. So that's for on the PC side. This is powered by my rig that I built myself, which is a Ryzen 9 3900X. So it's got like 12 cores or something like that. It's like super beast. I do have one little kind of Mac computer there, one screen for Mac. It's just different from everything else. It's just showing me charts, which is kind of fun. So that's on a separate computer. The great part about my recent setup I'm particularly proud of is I can switch between the two devices. So I have these like little buttons here that I can switch between either computer 1, 2, or 3. So these are the MX keys, which I found was pretty good. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's kind of my setup here. I just spent a little bit of time getting everything set up. So I finally got this camera set up finally. I mean, I finally doing stuff that I said I would do for a long time, which is why I have a smile on my face. I've been trying to get a camera in this angle for the longest amount of time. I was just too lazy to set it up. It was just too much going on. So, anyways, that's kind of the 2 cents here. So now you see both sides and you see what's happening. So yeah, so that's pretty much my 2 cents here about what is going on. So where he says 7 dock, can you do a house tour? There's nothing much interesting here. This place is rented purely as a kind of streaming area for me. So yeah, there's basically this tiny place. You know, Hong Kong property is super expensive, so we rented something very very small here. But you know, anyways, it looks like a dumpster truck. There's a few more tours as well on Box Tech. So it's on my second other channel. If you guys want to see the early tours and everything, setting up everything, check out Box Tech. It was done a little bit earlier, so that's my second channel. Yeah, it's for just random, totally random stuff, behind the scenes tour and everything. If you guys want to check that out, it's on Box Tech. Anyways, guys, James Hong says, "Hi, I'm a fan from Hong Kong. Can you talk about future regulations from Hong Kong government?" It's actually quite uncertain right now. There's new regulations coming on securities trading and regulations specifically targeting crypto chain trading as well. That's coming up. It won't really actually be enforced until 2021. And there's still some uncertainty over how it will be passed. So we'll give an update. And I think the best way to deal with that, if you guys are interested in that in regulation, one of the reasons why it's actually very important is because a lot of exchanges are or were registered here. So or they have operations in Hong Kong. So most of the big exchanges like Binance, FTX, what else? Huobi, OK, BitMEX. Yeah, they operate out of, like, they have offices in Hong Kong, and how this kind of plays in this, even if they're not registered, they have an office here. So how does this legal regulation affect them? Are they affected because they have an office here? Lots of big questions coming up in 2021. So there's a lot of actually unclearness going on in that regulation. We did take a look at with the guys at Genesis Block and with some of the legal experts here about that. So I'm going to refrain from making any direct comments. And I think the best way to do it is via an interview method in the upcoming videos with legal experts on this. All right. All right, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Do smash up the likes. And if you guys have any cool ideas for what to buy in Black Friday, I've been looking for deals. I've been looking for some stuff to buy. And tell me if this is good. All right, you guys know I have a headphone thing, right? So I've been, I've been looking at deals this week. I was looking at Drop. All right, so looking at headphones. Oh, are they done with their Black Friday sales? Oh shit, that would suck. So I was looking at the Drop Bear Dynamic one. So it's the one, let's see, Drop 177X. So I've been looking for yeah, this is the mass drop one. And are they still on sale? I don't know. But anyways, I'm looking at this one. Do they have it? They really want my freaking email, don't they? But anyways, I was looking at this one. Yeah, it's a closed headphones. So, for me, I kind of just pull my Hyphaman here. I have a full review, by the way, on Box Tech. But these are open, which means that they, if there's traffic noise outside, and also if there's someone else nearby here, it's extremely toxic because sound just goes right through these, right? These become like speakers. So yeah, I'm looking for some closed back headphones. If you guys have any recommendations, shoot them down below. I'll definitely take a look. We got Koichi says Cyber Monday coming soon. Yeah, definitely. So if you guys have any recommendations for headphones, I'm looking for some good ones. Definitely out in the market for that, and also have a headphone app coming in. So I'm pretty excited on that front too. So anyways, that's my life for you guys. With that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's stream. We actually passed 200 something likes. Thank you guys so much for that. Really appreciate it. This has been a really great stream. I really had fun hanging out with you guys. We'll do another live stream on Monday. So usually, so my stream times in terms of Hong Kong time is 11 a.m. So starting like an hour ago. And that's Monday and Friday Hong Kong time. But I do surprise streams throughout the week. So this is something that I've been doing a lot. So make sure you click that little subscribe button down below and the notification bell. Unfortunately, guys, usually I only give 30 minutes before I start a live stream, but I really do want to have conversations with you guys, and it'll be great. And I think this week is a perfect timing for that. I'm pretty much gearing and very excited for stuff coming this week. So anyways, especially if people are coming back from Thanksgiving and they're all talking about Bitcoin, that's going to be a fun discussion to have. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching that today. Let's get that started, and I'm going to finish up with the outro, and I'll see you guys next time. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Boxmining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin Out of the Box. So just add that onto a playlist and just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the Boxmining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the Boxmining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on the day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.